I'm the Duet Ninja. I explain shit. Um, hopefully my microphone sounds better than it was. Uh, it's uh, it's a crazy situation. It's a crazy situation. It's funny. My laptop. Well, excuse me. My laptop never has this issue with my interface. So I'm a professional voiceover talent. I'm also a sound engineer. Because I'm a voiceover talent. Well, I've been doing that for well over a decade now, and I have a my booth over there is actually where I do recording for my clients. But my 416 here, my Sennheiser 416 is actually started with this microphone, and I've gotten some interfaces over the years, and the Scarlett interface. Is one that I'm extremely happy with, but for some odd reason, it doesn't like Microsoft, and Microsoft doesn't like it. So, um, but today, I want to talk to you guys about the ramifications of hardships, economic hardships, to be specific. This is going to be a series because um, it's a lot of information. I'm already 30 minutes behind because I started a live and then I had to restart it because my microphone was acting funny, which is why I'm talking about my microphone. And it is what it is. But I have the information for you guys. This I normally go for an hour. This is gonna be a 30-minute one. But I have a lot of information for you guys. I really want to talk to you guys about this because my background is in psychology and as a world history teacher at the high school level. So and I also have a minor, an associate's degree, I should say, in sociology. So doing studies, um, studying, trends and things of that nature, and understanding how to research properly, and um, diving into semantics and linguistics and all these other things allows me to utilize artificial intelligence um, that's geared towards education, that's geared towards information and filtration and things of that nature. So I want to talk to you guys as individuals. Yay! Thanks, Shane. What shout out to my man Shane and to Mark that got me straight. Okay, well, let's ride. All right, so I'm gonna run through this somewhat quickly. Um, the first portion because I've already gone through it. But and it's shared on your screen so you guys can see it as well. Well, hold on, it's about to be. It's about to be. It's about to be. Bam! Look at that. All right, so how economic hard times provide opportunities for people who earn over $1 million per year. So people like Trump, people like Elon, people like those are who are connected to basically every member in Congress, if they so choose to, or if they so chose to. Okay, um, the opportunities are coming if you haven't seen them already. And you'll notice the intersectionality between what I'm telling you and the actual happenings of, especially right now. Normally, things like this will be behind closed doors because you wouldn't have somebody that is literally, putting forth this confusion, this utter chaos, right? And basically telling you to your face that they're going to benefit off of this and lie to you about you're going to benefit off of it. You're gonna make the most money ever. What Donald Trump was projecting is that his peoples, that was a message to his folks, right? Um, that this is what's happening, and you guys are about to make a lot more money. And he put forth some tax cuts during his first presidency that and that's about to expire, that he's probably going to keep into effect. The middle class is about to become the lower middle class. Excuse me. Well, depends. There's going to be a lot of damage here, but here's why it's extremely important for these people to do this to you. Okay, because they're all about making money. They're all about buying up shit. So asset prices drop. I'm gonna highlight this for you so you guys can see it. Okay. So they can buy cheap. I mean, you saw this during the housing crash. If you were in the housing market and into buying a home in 2008 to 2009, 10, 11, 12. The housing crash that happened with wealthy investors and things of that nature. They bought foreclosed homes for pennies on a dollar, right? It's not that they could not afford to buy homes, is that they can buy more homes because it's cheaper now, which also influences the housing market, influences where people can live, if they want to rent, things of that nature. So I'm sorry, I'm turning my ringer off here. So these are the things that are going into effect right now. If you haven't noticed, the past couple of, well, I should say, gosh, well, I guess about the past 10 years, um, you've seen rent just steady on the inclines because the housing market was such where people couldn't afford to buy homes because these you had hedge funds managers and these co-ops going in and just buying up stuff. Quick backdrop, my wife and I have multiple properties well, in vicinity where we live, due to family and things of that nature. And we got calls, and it's basically stopped recently, but we got calls for about 2 to 3 years, damn near. People calling to buy up our shit because they were expecting people to sell their properties, sell their homes because they couldn't afford shit. It's we seen it coming. If you guys are paying rent, you saw it coming. The 2020 COVID crash, you had investors buying up airlines, hotels, tech stocks at deep discounts, which ties into number two here, right? The average person becomes desperate, right? This whole thing is about creating cheap labor. So not only are they going to be able to influence who can live where, they're going to be able to influence how much they pay you to work. This is what they're trying to do. I mean, think about what I just said right now and what they've been doing with government employees and things of that nature in this country, right? Consolidation of power. Struggling small businesses can't survive market pressure or rising costs. Millionaire investors and large companies buy them out or eliminate competition. And the result of that is you have fewer competitors, you have more market controls by those who are eliminating people, and you have higher future profits um, when the economy rebounds. And that's a great point, Shane. Shane typed, "Panic leads to poverty." It does, right? It does. Access to leverage and credit. Now, this is where people are really getting screwed over, so to say. You have banks and lenders that trust wealthy people more, even though the wealthy people are the ones who instigated this whole situation, mind you. Right? It's odd, right? Banking institutions trust wealthy people, and wealthy people are the ones that introduce this suffering. And so the banks rely on the wealthy people to make it better, quote unquote, and then the cycle continues. And might I remind you that these banks are ran by what? Wealthy people. I digress. Even in downturns, okay. So, but millionaires can borrow money at low rates, which means, okay, millionaires can borrow money at low rates to expand their holdings, while average borrowers face high rates or denial. Now we're going back and again. Here, this is the cycle. This influences the consolidation of power because they're eliminating competition, right? Which influences cheap labor, which brings us back to the fact that if it's cheap labor, you're not going to make enough money to influence the banks to get that kind of leverage. Cycle continues. This allows the rich to use other people's money to build their empire during crisis, and that part. If the banks are trusting wealthy people, that means wealthy people can afford to have lobbyists going into the halls of Congress to influence policy that allows them to get tax credits. Number five, tax advantages. See how that works? Many tax codes reward investment losses or allow depreciation during economic downturns. Wealthy individuals can often write off losses now and reap massive gains later when the economy recovers, tanking stock prices so they can buy them up 30, 40, 50% cheaper than they are now. Especially when you're talking about major corporations. And guess what? The more shares that you hold, the more influence you have on the board. in the direction of said company. That includes selling said company. Leverage, influence, chaos, buying influence, oddly enough. Financially struggling institutions like media companies, nonprofits, universities, politicians are vulnerable to donors and investors with cash. Wealthy people can buy influence, board seats, funny enough, or favorable regulations while others are too busy survive. It's like we saw it coming, right? And then we have what? Inflation, proof investments. While inflation hurts wages and savings for the average person, the rich often own assets that rise with inflation. You see how that works? We're the one paying the bill because they have the ability, they have the leverage, they have the infrastructure to send these things to us that we have to pay for. This is why you don't give the fox the keys to the chicken house. This past election cycle, the American populace just committed economic suicide and taking us all down with it. And so, in summary, this portion here, okay, economic downturns don't destroy wealth; they transfer it. I want you to write that down. Think about it. Dwell on it. Economic downturns don't destroy wealth; they never have. They transfer it, and it always goes upward. That's why you have to rely on the trickle down, which is clearly all talk. Hard times widen the gap between the wealthy and everyone else, not just because of luck, but because the rich are prepared for crises. Their wealth gives them options while most people are forced into survival mode. For millionaires, economic pain in society often signals one damn thing: it's time to go shopping. And then you have people who are desperate for a job that has a skill set that would benefit these wealthy people in going shopping. So what does desperation do? Desperation also can make you greedy, folks. There's a big difference between surviving and being greedy. So we're going to talk about real world examples real quick. Hold on, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, good. Got about 22 minutes here. I'm gonna see how far I can get down here. Folks, I got charts in the whole nine. I'm not playing. And by the way, welcome to the Duet Ninja Dojo. I go by the Duet Ninja. I explain shit. Hey, what's up, Mark? Appreciate you, brother. All right, so you're just in time for the real examples of the opportunities and economic hardships that has been going on. Now, I gave our AI here. I gave Chat GPT a chronological section here. So from 2001 to 2020. So well, we'll start with 2001. Obviously, yeah, the dot-com crash and the 9/11 aftermath. Um, the two biggies, and clearly you can see who benefited from that was Jeff Bezos and Google founders of Google. What happened? Yeah, the Amazon stock dropped from $107 to six. Bezos bought back shares, survived the crash, and became a future $1 trillion company. And a lot of that money that built his infrastructure, that built this mega giant. Well, the tax breaks of these factories, I mean, excuse me, these plants, and transportation lines have been popping up all over the country. It's tax credits. That's how these people get wealthy. They don't pay for shit because they have the leverage of hiring people because of desperation. They know exactly what they're doing. Because once you get to a certain level, ladies and gentlemen, certain people start to contact you. They want to talk. They want to get you on their team. Google founders launch Google ads during a weak ad market. You- I mean, Google Ads, man, and dominated online advertising and underpricing struggling competitors. I mean, that's just people don't understand the leverage of advertising and marketing, man. I'm telling you, I mean, simply look at Coca-Cola, McDonald's, right? KFC, their marketing campaigns. The fact that they can pay some of these people these marketing campaigns. I'm telling you, oh, what's good, homie? Matt Trucker in the building. All right. So next example, 2008, the Great Recession housing crisis. Yeah, massive layoffs, foreclosures, bankruptcies devastated working class America. I'm sure you guys can remember that. So who benefited from that? Warren Buffett, Berkshire Hathaway. So they invested $5 billion in struggling Goldman Sachs, mind you, and received high interest payments and stock options during their recovery. And so Berkshire Hathaway became associated with Goldman Sachs holdings and all the things that they're connected with. I mean, you don't drop 5 billion on an entity like Goldman Sachs and don't get paid off of that. And Goldman Sachs in return can utilize Berkshire Hathaway as leverage to not only borrow, right, but to get their hands on their assets, right, and that connection. I mean, it's crazy. Blackstone Group, private equity firm, right, bought tens of thousands of foreclosed homes. I remember I just told you about the that's one of the Blackstone Group, and then these other groups that came about during this time because people couldn't afford their homes. People getting kicked out left and right, or had to move. And here they come, and that's just one, right? Became one of America's largest landlords through innovation homes, right? Hedge fund managers, and this is a very diverse group. Shorted the housing market, right? Bet it would collapse because they had the people that were giving them the mortgages, right? Made billions. You see the Big Short. Just an example. And again, I'm not gonna have. I know, right? Good time, Shane. I'm not gonna be able to have. I'm not gonna have time to go through all this because I started late on this live. But again, I'm gonna give you guys what I can, and then we'll kick it back up in a couple of weeks. So the 2020 COVID-19 pandemic crash. All right, and again, this window was from 2000 to 2020. I mean 2020. Okay. Again, who benefited? You seen this, right? People talking about Trump and Elon. Bezos, homie. Bezos. Right. So again, we know about the COVID-19 pandemic crash, right? But yeah, let's look at Bezos. Surge in online shopping during lockdowns. So in one minute he was, back in the early 2000s, he was there to leverage himself in terms of his stocks, buy that back and get people to invest in Amazon. And then again, I mean, Bezos' net worth increased by over $70 billion in 1 year, ladies and gentlemen. That makes you wonder. That makes you wonder. Who's invested in these calamities? All right. Who's really money can do a lot of things, folks. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I do understand the depths of which greed will push people. I know that shit. It's almost like being addicted to meth, man. You don't care what it does to you. You sure as hell don't care what it does to people around you. Elon Musk also benefited from the COVID crash. Tesla stock surged as tech became dominant, right? But Musk's net worth grew from 27 to 170. He lost a lot of that shit. Zoom, right? Zoom videos and things of that nature. Zoom investors. Remote work exploded in demand. Clearly, stock rose from $70 to $500 per stock, and that's not going anywhere, right? Wall Street billionaires, not millionaires, billionaires. Fed printed trillions of dollars, right? Propping up markets for the stock market recovery that was fast as hell, while Main Street was struggling. Clearly, again, Why in the world are people at the top getting this wealth when it's people at the bottom that need said assets? It doesn't make any sense. But the pattern is clear. What is the pattern? One, in every crisis, assets become cheaper. Two, big players with cash or credit can buy or expand while we cannot. Meanwhile, and number three, meanwhile, everyday people lose homes, jobs, businesses, often selling assets at a loss just to survive, which again furthers the desperation. You can't think when you're scared. You can't think when you're desperate. That's why you have to train. All right, you have to train in certain situations, but you can't train for something like this, folks. You can't train for stagnation because that's suicide. You can't train for that. You don't have leverage in that situation. You don't have assets in that situation. You can't make moves in that situation. So you have the whim of the wealthy. And when you put these people in the plate and the executive office and then you put the executive branch, the judicial branch, when you have lobbyists going through the halls, and I'll get down to that in just a second if I have time, hopefully. When you have these things, no matter what you do as an individual that is not in that group, you're at the whim of what they want to do. There's no getting away from that. All right. So what about everyday Americans in this situation? Well, in 2008, 10 million people lost their homes in this country in 1 year. 10 million. I don't think people can fathom that time. 10 million. That's bigger than a lot of cities in this country. Damn near every city in this country. I mean, 2020 in 2020, over 100,000 small businesses closed permanently. Small businesses. And it didn't matter how long you were in business. It didn't matter. Remember I was talking about people with a particular skill set. It would be hard for them to cross over into another field where they can actually make money, especially to co-op the money that they already lost. I mean, not already lost, but the money they already were making. I mean, if you were a successful small business and you had 10 to 12, 30 employees, the domino effect from that, folks, is devastating. It is absolutely devastating. Uh, take this quote with you too, damn it. Final thought. This it might not be my final thought, but just take this with you. Crises don't just create victims; they create kings. Peep game, peep game. I'm gonna put that in the damn chat. Look, crises don't just create victims. You hear me typing that shit? They create kings. I got in such a hurry. I misspelled it. You get the gist. Look at this. I mean that is so true. That is so true. Those earning over $1 million a year aren't playing the same game during economic collapses. They are positioned to buy fear and sell confidence later. Buy fear, sell confidence later. So that makes you think, ladies and gentlemen, just how far would these people go to get that money? Iraq War. How far will they go just to get that money? Do you realize during colonization, it was imperative that the church created this facade that everybody that was not Anglo and a Christian were not deemed as people? How far do they have to go to get that money? If they were willing to do that long ago, don't think, folks. Buy fear, sell confidence. What do those two things center around? Feelings, straight feelings. Fear, confidence. That's feelings. And what will you do when you succumb to fear, but you're confident about something that fear came from? What I mean is the messenger. Because the messenger, the same messenger that's giving you that fear is the same messenger that's selling you confidence. They're going to tell you to fear this, fear that, and vote for me. And they're going to sell you confidence on the back end. That's nothing but a lie because you are not on the same playing field. You're not playing that game. You ain't got that fucking leverage. Buy fear, sell confidence. That's your ass. Because you're not going to see what's coming. And this is why cults are extremely dangerous and powerful at the same time. Because these people don't care what's going to happen. They're worried about the fear. And they also listen to the confidence that's being sold to them. They don't care. Okay. So let's break down something here. All right. So part one here is the hold on. Yeah, I got 8 minutes. Let me get to part one. Yeah, let me get to part one here. So part one, you got the industries that historically benefit most during economic hard times. You ready? It's damn near everything that deals with your life as an American, I guarantee you. People around the world for that matter. So the industries that historically benefit, you got finance and private equity, right? They buy distressed assets, companies, homes, land cheaply. And the examples given here, I want you guys to look on that third column because those are the entities that you need to take heed to, mind you, because they got their hands in this shit, I guarantee you, because they keep benefiting. They keep benefiting. Right. So finance, private equity, you got Blackstone, Goldman Sachs, Berkshire Hathaway. Tech, you got Amazon, Google, Zoom, Microsoft. Healthcare, pharmaceuticals, you got Pfizer, which I've done work for, mind you. Moderna, Johnson and Johnson. Discount retail and fast food, you got Walmart, Dollar General, McDonald's. Keep benefiting. They keep benefiting. Real estate investment trusts, REITs. Invitation homes and equity residential. Defense and security, Lockheed Martin, Iraq War, Raytheon, and Palantir. And Palantir has had their hand in the whole TikTok situation. Yeah. Utilities and energy, you got Duke Energy, Exxon Mobil. Boy, Exxon got one hell of a history too, folks. They shouldn't even be in existence for the crap that they dropped in our waters. Media and entertainment tech, you got Netflix, Disney Plus, surprise, and Spotify. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? Yeah. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? So yeah. 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 I'll come back to this, guys. Well, I want to give you guys a visual real quick. I want to give you guys this visual real quick. Now I'm gonna come back the next the week after, right? Every 2 weeks, folks. So put that in your calendar. Every 2 weeks, 9:30 a.m. I'm coming on this bitch. Okay. So top performing lobbying firms. What you see here, ladies and gentlemen, is the reason why our wages have been stagnant. People won't allow us to have free health care in this country, and the members of Congress that we elect, quote unquote, are given to us. Those individuals are given to us in terms of being sold confidence. We're given these entities, or excuse me, these ideas of who they are, when in all actuality they're just puppets for these lobbying firms. Okay. Now if you want to, man, hey, go research these names, folks. Go research these businesses and their affiliations. Okay. Brownstein, Hyatt, Farber, and Schreck. 62.7 million. As Bloomberg government's top performing lobbying firms report ranks all 381 firms, but these are the tops. Okay. This is the revenue number that these individuals are getting. Okay, okay. Aiken, Gump, Strauss, Hauer, and Feld, Holland the Knight, BGR, Government Affairs, all these entities, folks. These are lobbying firms, and if they can afford to, you know, if they can afford to have these types of revenue numbers, okay, imagine what they're able to pump into the halls of Congress. Imagine what they're able to do. Okay, and you can see here, folks. Hold on, let me get up out of there. I have a lot more charts and graphs to show you guys. So next time, make sure you come on here, man, and we're gonna get into it because I got a whole bunch of information. I'm gonna build on this information as well. Okay. Hey, thanks for dropping into the Duet Ninja Dojo, guys. I'm sorry, my microphone was screwed up in the first the first 30 minutes, so I had to give you guys a tight window here. But yeah, remember those quotes, man. Remember those quotes, and next time we'll start with part two on how policy protects and strengthens the wealthy during economic hard times. All right, so we're gonna jump into the whole policy, man. Right, and each and every day I'm coming up with ideas and I'm throwing them into chat GPT, and I'm keeping a folder here on the side so you guys can see. It's I got a lot of stuff I hadn't even talked about yet. Being prepared for martial law, right? Political party policies on CSA, right? I have a lot of things for you guys, so stay tuned. Stay tuned. And ain't nothing like the dojo. Ain't nothing like the dojo. You have to train to survive, folks. That means you also have to train to learn. Every day is an opportunity. Hey, Mark, appreciate you guys, man. Mad Truck, appreciate you for dropping in, homie. I mean, of course, Shane from all the way out in Western Australia. And I know that was a horrible accent, Tim. What Peace and blessings to y'all, man. Hey, make sure you come back on the 27th. Come back on the 27th, man. We want to have a good conversation. And by all means, take care of yourselves. I'll see you on TikTok. Peace.